In the name of the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit, one God, Amen. My beloved, pause and let these words sink deep into your soul. God knows the door that is yours, crafted for your purpose, ordained by His sovereign hand. Before we journey further, I invite you to like this video, subscribe to this channel, share this message with those burdened by worry, and comment below, declaring, "I trust God to open my door." Your engagement will spread this hope to hearts desperate for His peace. You may be sitting there, heavy with worry, your mind tangled in questions about tomorrow, your finances, your relationships, your health, your future. The world presses in, whispering fears, magnifying uncertainties, and multiplying burdens. But hear this truth: worry is a thief, stealing your peace, clouding your faith, and chaining your heart to doubt. It solves nothing, opens no doors, and changes no circumstances. Yet faith in the Almighty, the Creator who moves mountains, unlocks the impossible, swings wide the gates no man can shut, and leads you to the path God has prepared. Jesus Himself declared in Matthew 7 verse 7, "Ask and it will be given to you, seek and you will find, knock and the door will be opened to you." These are not empty words but a divine promise, a guarantee that when you seek God's will, the door meant for you will open. God sees your struggles, knows your desires, and holds the keys to your destiny. He is not distant or indifferent, He is working behind the scenes, orchestrating every detail for your good. So, cast aside your fears, release your what-ifs, and trust the One whose ways are higher than yours, whose thoughts surpass your own. Isaiah 55 verses 8-9. Today, we begin unveiling the truths that anchor us in trust, freeing us from worry and guiding us to God's perfect door. The first truth is this: God's sovereignty over your path. He is not a bystander in your life but the author of your story, guiding every step, even when the way seems unclear. Psalm 37 verse 23 says, "The steps of a righteous man are ordered by the Lord." Your doors, open or closed, are not by chance but by divine design. Every trial, every delay, every moment of waiting is part of His plan to shape you, refine you, and lead you to the door that fulfills His purpose. Consider Joseph, sold into slavery, imprisoned, and forgotten. He faced closed doors at every turn, betrayed by his brothers, falsely accused, left in a dungeon. Yet Genesis 50 verse 20 reveals God's sovereignty. "You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good to accomplish what is now being done." Every closed door redirected Joseph to the door of destiny, where he became Egypt's governor, saving nations. I recall a woman, Emily, who lost her job and faced financial ruin. She prayed, yet doors remained shut. In her waiting, she trusted God, volunteering at a shelter. There, she discovered a passion for service, and a new door opened, a career in non-profit leadership. Her closed doors were God's redirection to His perfect plan. Are you facing closed doors? Do not see them as rejection but as divine redirection. God's sovereignty means no obstacle is too great, no delay is wasted. He sees the end from the beginning, protecting you from what would harm and guiding you to what will bless. When worry creeps in, remind yourself, God is in control. Declare in the comments, "I trust God's sovereign plan." Let your voice proclaim your faith in the One who orders your steps. Prophetically, I speak over you. God is weaving your story with threads of grace, turning every closed door into a step toward His purpose. You will walk in confidence, knowing the Creator holds your future, and no plan of His can be thwarted. The second truth is the power of persistent faith. Faith is not passive, it is active, relentless, knocking when doors seem locked, seeking when answers seem distant. Matthew 7 verse 7 urges us to keep asking, keep seeking, keep knocking. Persistent faith trusts God's timing, even when the wait feels endless. It refuses to surrender to doubt, for it knows that God's promises are sure, and His doors open at the perfect moment. Look at the Canaanite woman in Matthew 15 verses 21-28, who pleaded for her daughter's healing. Jesus initially seemed silent, and the disciples urged her away. Yet she persisted, kneeling, crying, "Lord, help me." Her faith moved Jesus to declare, "Woman, you have great faith. Your request is granted." Her persistence unlocked the door to a miracle. I know a man, David, who prayed for years to reconcile with his estranged son. Doors of communication stayed shut, but David kept praying, trusting God's timing. One day, his son called, and healing began. David's persistent faith opened a door no man could shut. Are you tempted to stop knocking? Does the silence make you doubt God hears? The enemy whispers that God has forgotten you, but that is a lie. Persistent faith drowns out those lies, trusting that God is working, even in the quiet. Keep praying, keep seeking, keep believing. Your door is coming, and it will open when God's timing aligns with His purpose. Share this message with someone weary in waiting. Your encouragement could renew their faith. Declare now, I will persist in faith. Let your life testify that you trust God's perfect timing. I proclaim over you, God is honoring your persistent faith, strengthening you in the wait, and preparing a door that will astonish you. Your prayers are not in vain, they are building a testimony that will glorify Him. As we close this section, let these truths, God's sovereignty and persistent faith, anchor your heart. Do you trust His control over your path? Are you knocking with unwavering faith? Stop worrying, for God knows your door, and He will open it in His time. Stay with me, for more truths await, guiding you to a life of peace and purpose. My beloved, as we journey deeper into the truths that free us from worry and anchor us in God's perfect plan, we stand in the presence of a God who holds the keys to every door, whose love never falters, and whose timing never fails. Today, we unveil two more pillars of faith, surrendering control to God and embracing the preparation of waiting. These are not mere steps but divine invitations to trust the one who knows your path, to rest in His wisdom, and to walk boldly toward the door He has ordained for you. Let these truths ignite your soul, for you are called to a life of peace, purpose, and unshakable faith. The third truth is the surrender of control, a radical act of releasing your plans, your timelines, and your fears into God's sovereign hands. Worry thrives when we cling to the illusion of control, when we believe we must force doors open or orchestrate our own destinies. But Proverbs 3 verses 5 to 6 commands, trust in the Lord with all your heart and lean not on your own understanding. In all your ways submit to Him, and He will make your paths straight. Surrender is not defeat, it is freedom, aligning your heart with the God who sees the end from the beginning, who knows which door is yours. Consider Abraham, called to leave his homeland for an unknown land, Genesis 12 verse 1. He had no map, no guarantee, yet he surrendered control, trusting God's promise. That surrender led to a covenant that birthed nations. Abraham's open doors were not his doing but God's, opened through obedience. I recall a woman, Sarah, who faced infertility for years. She planned, prayed, and pursued every medical option, yet doors remained closed. In desperation, she surrendered her dream to God, saying, "Your will, not mine." Months later, a door opened through adoption, bringing her a child who filled her heart with joy. Her surrender unlocked God's perfect plan, proving that His ways surpass our own. Are you gripping your plans so tightly that you miss God's purpose? Do you exhaust yourself trying to force doors open? The redeemed surrender control, trusting that God's doors are better than their own. A closed door is not a denial but a divine redirection, protecting you from what would harm and guiding you to what will bless. When worry tempts you to take charge, choose surrender instead. Declare in the comments, "I surrender my plans to God." Let your voice proclaim your trust in the one who holds your future. Prophetically, I speak over you. God is breaking the chains of control, freeing you to rest in His perfect will. As you surrender, He is aligning your path with His purpose, leading you to doors that will glorify His name. Your trust will open floodgates of peace, washing away every fear. The fourth truth is embracing the preparation of waiting, recognizing that God's delays are not denials but divine seasons of growth. Waiting is not punishment, it is preparation, refining your character, deepening your faith, and equipping you for the door ahead. Psalm 27 verse 14 urges, "Wait for the Lord, be strong and take heart and wait for the Lord." In God's kingdom, waiting is active trust, a time when He molds you into the person ready to walk through His ordained door. Look at Moses, who spent 40 years in the wilderness before leading Israel out of Egypt, Exodus 2-3. Those years were not wasted, they were God's classroom, teaching humility, dependence, and obedience. When the burning bush appeared, Moses was ready, and the door to his destiny opened. I know a young man, Daniel, who dreamed of starting a business. He prayed, planned, and knocked, but doors stayed shut. In his waiting, he volunteered, studied, and grew in faith. Years later, a door opened, a partnership that launched his vision beyond his dreams. Daniel's waiting was God's preparation, shaping him for success. Are you frustrated by waiting? Do closed doors make you question God's care? The enemy whispers that God is late, but God is never in a hurry. He is always on time. Your wilderness is not abandonment, it is a forge where God strengthens you. Embrace this season, for it is crafting you for the door ahead. Share this message with someone weary in waiting. Your encouragement could renew their hope. Declare now, I embrace God's preparation. Let your life testify that you trust His process, even when it feels slow. I proclaim over you, God is using your waiting to build a masterpiece, equipping you for the door He has prepared. Your patience will bear fruit, and your faith will shine as a beacon of His faithfulness. Every moment of delay is shaping you for glory. As we close this section, let these truths, surrendering control and embracing waiting, resound in your heart. Are you releasing your plans to God's will? Are you trusting His preparation in the wait? The redeemed do not strive or fear. They rest, knowing God knows their door. Stay with me, for more truths await, guiding you to walk boldly through the door God has ordained for you. My beloved, as we press deeper into the truths that anchor us in God's unshakable plan, we stand in the presence of a God whose wisdom surpasses our fears, whose timing perfects our paths, and whose love guides us to the door marked with our name. Today, we unveil two more pillars of faith, seeing closed doors as divine redirection and walking in bold confidence when God opens the way. These are not mere concepts but divine assurances, igniting trust in the one who holds every key, calling us to rest in His purpose and step forward in His power. Let these truths set your heart ablaze, for you are destined for a door that fulfills God's eternal design. The fifth truth is seeing closed doors as divine redirection, a holy shift from viewing obstacles as denials to recognizing them as God's sovereign guidance. A closed door is not a dead end but a detour, steering you toward the path God has ordained. Revelation 3 verse 7 declares, "What He opens no one can shut, and what He shuts no one can open." When God closes a door, it is not rejection but protection, not abandonment but alignment with His perfect will. He sees what lies beyond, guarding you from harm and leading you to greater blessing. Consider the Apostle Paul in Acts 16 verses 6 to 10. He planned to preach in Asia, but the Holy Spirit blocked his path, closing that door. Paul did not despair, he trusted God's redirection. In a vision, God opened a new door to Macedonia, where countless souls came to Christ. That closed door was not a failure but a divine pivot to a greater mission. I recall a sister, Rachel, who dreamed of a specific career. She applied tirelessly, but every door slammed shut. Discouraged, she prayed, "Lord, show me your way." Soon, a door opened in a different field, teaching, where she found joy and impacted young lives. Her closed doors were God's redirection, guiding her to His purpose. Are you staring at a closed door, feeling forgotten? Reframe it as God's loving hand, steering you away from what would diminish and toward what will flourish. The enemy whispers that a shut door means God has failed you, but that is a lie. Every closure is a step closer to the door with your name on it. Trust that God's no is preparing you for His yes. Declare in the comments, "I see closed doors as God's redirection." Let your voice proclaim your faith in the one who guides your path with precision. Prophetically, I speak over you. God is turning every closed door into a bridge to your destiny. You will walk in clarity, seeing His hand in every detour, and your trust will shine as a testimony of His faithfulness. What you thought was loss, God will reveal as gain, leading you to His perfect plan. The sixth truth is walking in bold confidence when God opens the door, stepping through with faith, not fear, knowing the Creator has gone before you. When God swings wide the door, it is not a call to hesitate or second guess but to move forward in the strength of His provision. Joshua 1 verse 9 commands, "Be strong and courageous. Do not be afraid, do not be discouraged, for the Lord your God will be with you wherever you go. The redeemed do not shrink back, they advance, trusting that God's open door comes with his power to fulfill his purpose. Look at Esther, an orphan girl who became queen. When the door to save her people opened, she faced death if she approached the king uninvited. Yet Esther 4 verse 16 records her bold resolve, "If I perish, I perish." She stepped through in faith, and God used her to deliver a nation. I know a man, James, who felt called to start a ministry but feared failure. 4 years, he hesitated, but when a door opened, an invitation to lead a small group, he stepped forward. That step led to a thriving outreach, touching countless lives. James' bold confidence proved that God equips those he calls. When God opens your door, will you step through, or will fear hold you back? The world tells you to rely on your own strength, but the redeemed trust God's provision. You may feel unqualified, but God does not call the qualified, he qualifies the called. The door he opens is not a test of your ability, but a stage for his power. Share this message with someone standing at an open door, unsure whether to step forward. Your encouragement could spark their courage. Declare now, "I will walk through God's door in boldness." Let your life testify that you trust his strength, not your own. I proclaim over you, God is infusing you with courage, empowering you to step through his open door with unwavering faith. You will walk in his strength, and your obedience will unleash blessings that ripple into eternity. Every step will glorify the one who called you. As we close this section, let these truths, seeing closed doors as redirection and walking in bold confidence, resound in your soul. Do you trust God's guidance in every closure? Are you ready to step through his open door with courage? The redeemed do not fear or falter. They follow, knowing God's plan is perfect. Stay with me, for the final truth awaits, calling you to a life of trust and triumph through the door God has prepared. My beloved, we stand at the crescendo of this divine revelation, where the truths of God's sovereign plan converge to ignite a fire of faith in your soul. The journey to the door marked with your name, guided by God's sovereignty, fueled by persistent faith, anchored in surrender, shaped by waiting, redirected by closed doors, and entered with bold confidence, culminates in a final, transformative truth. Living with eternity's perspective, trusting that God's perfect door aligns with his eternal purpose for your life. Let this truth stir you to release every worry, embrace every season, and walk boldly into the destiny God has prepared. You are not bound by the temporary. You are called to the eternal. The seventh truth is living with eternity's perspective, fixing your eyes not on the fleeting troubles of this world, but on the unshakable promises of God. Colossians 3 verse 2 urges, "Set your minds on things above, not on earthly things." Worry thrives when we focus on the immediate, bills, setbacks, uncertainties, but faith flourishes when we see our lives through the lens of eternity. Every door, open or closed, is a step in God's grand design, not just for your earthly journey but for your eternal reward. The redeemed live not for momentary gain but for the glory of the King, trusting that his doors lead to a purpose that echoes beyond time. Consider the Israelites, wandering 40 years in the desert, Exodus 16, Deuteronomy 34. They faced closed doors, barren lands, delayed promises, and often grumbled, losing sight of God's plan. Yet every step, every trial, was preparation for the promised land, a foretaste of God's eternal kingdom. Their story reminds us that God's doors are not just about today but about his forever plan. I recall a brother, Michael, who battled chronic illness, praying for healing that didn't come. Doors to health seemed shut, but he chose to trust God, serving others despite his pain. In his final days, he led many to Christ, his life a testament to eternity's perspective. Michael's closed doors were God's invitation to a legacy that outlasts this world. Are you consumed by earthly worries, or do you live with heaven's hope? The world pushes instant gratification, but the redeemed see every moment as part of God's eternal tapestry. A closed door today may be shaping you for a role in his kingdom tomorrow. An open door now may be a platform to glorify him forever. Psalm 37 verse 4 promises, "Delight yourself in the Lord, and he will give you the desires of your heart." When you align your heart with eternity, your desires become his, and every door he opens fulfills his perfect will. Reflect on this. Do your worries reflect a focus on the temporary, or does your faith anchor you in the eternal? The redeemed do not fret over what passes, they trust the one who endures. When doubt creeps in, lift your eyes to heaven, where your true citizenship lies. Philippians 3 verse 20. Declare in the comments, I live for eternity's purpose. Let your voice proclaim your commitment to God's everlasting plan. Your perspective is not just for you. It is a light to others, pointing them to the hope of Christ. Prophetically, I speak over you. God is lifting your eyes to eternity, transforming your worries into worship and your trials into testimonies. You will live with heaven's clarity, and every door, open or closed, will reveal His glory. Your life will echo in the courts of heaven, a masterpiece of His grace. Now, let's bring this journey to a powerful close. The truths we've unveiled, God's sovereignty, persistent faith, surrendering control, embracing waiting, seeing redirection, walking in boldness, and living for eternity, are not a checklist but a call to trust the one who holds every key. Look at David, a shepherd boy facing Goliath, 1 Samuel 17. Doors of fear and impossibility loomed, but David trusted God's plan, stepped forward in faith, and saw victory. His life was not defined by open doors alone but by a heart fixed on God's eternal purpose. I challenge you, share this message with someone crushed by worry. Your obedience could spark hope in their heart. Like this video if you're ready to trust God's timing. Subscribe to this channel to stay rooted in His truth. And in the comments, declare, I trust God's perfect door. Your declaration is a weapon, shattering the enemy's lies and aligning you with heaven's plan. I proclaim over you, God is opening doors no man can shut, guiding you with His unfailing love. Every step, every wait, every closure is crafting you for His glory. You will walk through His door with boldness, radiating His light, impacting lives for eternity. No force can stop His plan, for you are His, and His purpose prevails. Let me close with a story. A woman labored for years in a small village, teaching children about Jesus. She faced closed doors, poverty, opposition, illness, with no recognition. As she grew old, she wondered if her work mattered. One day, a young man, now a pastor, found her and said, You taught me about Christ. Because of you, thousands know Him. Her open doors were not for fame but for eternity, touching souls she never knew. Oh beloved, your doors are not just for you, they are for God's kingdom, for lives you may never see this side of heaven. Live with eternity's fire. Trust God's timing. Release your worries. When His door opens, step through with courage, knowing He has gone before you. If you're weary, cry out now. Lord, I trust your plan. His grace is sufficient, His timing perfect. One day, you will stand before Him, and every weight, every tear, every door will make sense. Until then, walk in faith, for the God who knows your door will lead you to it, and it will be worth every moment. Rise up, child of God, and let your life shine with the glory of His eternal plan.